Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes, yes. Morning, Trainiacs. Today, we are back from Kona, and I got back to a care package that is causing me to... I'm gonna head to the bike shop, and we are going to replace that with that. If you know, you know. But if you don't know, this is the SRAM Red AXS eTap group set. This is an upgrade from the Shimano Ultegra Di2 group set that I've got. This has, by some people, been talked about as the future of shifting, braking, and tire group sets. We're gonna take it into the bike shop for surgery, and I'll explain why you might want to consider upgrading to this. Also, I got back from Kona to this junk. We had like just a full-on snow ice storm, and basically the entire city looks like this, down trees everywhere. Can we start a Kickstarter for a Trainiac house in Kona? You in? Who's in? So the reason that I'm doing this started primarily because what I'm finding is the more that I travel, the more stuff goes wrong on my bike. Taking it apart, building it up, removing all the cables, removing parts, putting it back together, it ends up creating problems. And that's why I first ended up changing over to the Shikon bag, the bag that I can leave the entire handlebar system on. And then I was talking to Ben Canute while we were producing the ProTriathlonTraining.com course with him. And I was looking at his SRAM Red eTap system and I went, this is wireless. I don't have any wires that can come undone as I travel. So I asked Ben how it was, and he said, oh yeah, there's so many fewer things to worry about when you travel. So I reached out to SRAM. They sent this out, and I don't know how to put it on my bike. Hence, we go to Alter Ego, the bike shop, with Gracie, because PD went to daycare today because he's a special project with some anxiety issues. So we're having a little daddy-daughter day, right? Yeah, daddy-daughter day. Bike shop guy's perspective, with the caveat that you aren't a SRAM guy.
I don't mind it. It's still pretty good. Shift's nice. It's easy to install. Easy to travel with. Yeah. It's gotten a lot better than it used to be.
Why would you go SRAM over Shimano? Or vice versa? Like what does each do really well?
Shimano's faster shifting, I believe, in my mind. I like the ergonomics a little bit better and the thinness of this. You get extra buttons up top here for shifting. Okay. You can add sprinter shifters that are nice tucked in tight. You can still add the SRAM, the blips, I believe, on road for climbing and stuff in this area, so good. The nice thing about SRAM is the app on your phone, so you can program it, diagnose it, everything, without having to pay for an extra Wi-Fi adapter that sometimes you have to buy with Shimano.
Shimano is, yes, it's finicky for me to work on.
Yeah, you got to plug it in if you don't have that Wi-Fi adapter.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I look at it like working on your car. 50 years ago, people at home could work on their car with a basic set of tools.
Not anymore.
Now you cannot work on a Shimano Di2 set with a basic set of tools. Just need to, same thing as, oh man, that looks badass. I just realized, red on red.
Oh God, yes.
All right, we got ourselves the new group set in there, and you're foggy from the pool. Now we got to put these pedals on. So what we'll do is take a little bit of this pedal grease, and we just go like this, so the pedal goes on and off easily. And these are the Speed Play Zero Aero system. I'll show you them in a sec. They're pretty slick. All right, so after a fair bit of mucking around, we've got it on. They're not as straightforward as normal pedals to put on because there's a little bit of coverage here. So this is what it ends up looking like. You've got that nice right here. You can see how it's more aerodynamic. You don't have like a big bulky pedal to worry about. It's just all sleek and integrated. The black part is the pedal, and then this is the clip. I think I'm probably, on the whole bike right now, probably a pound lighter. These guys have been at it all day. All right, I gotta ride this thing. I enjoyed that. Certainly a learning curve. There are definitely some differences between SRAM and Shimano. I'll explain, but man, oh, that was good. All right, so the differences between SRAM, Shimano are bigger than I expected. Now, historically, I have recommended, and I would probably still recommend, that if you want the most reliable and consistent experience with a group set that you can possibly get, go with Shimano. And the reason that I say that is because SRAM has less presence at Ironman events than Shimano. You will more commonly find Shimano parts, Shimano tents, than you will SRAM. So for a lot of people who don't have, say, the connections that I've been fortunate enough to build and be able to source parts, be able to source really good mechanics at a last minute kind of scenario at an Ironman when something goes wrong, Shimano is probably going to be a little bit more resilient to the oh crap scenarios. But as far as a ride experience, let me just explain. For starters, really, really quiet. I actually turned off my earbuds while I was riding because I wanted to see if there was any sort of rattle, anything that was different between this and the Shimano Di2. And it's quite a bit quieter as I start going over bumps and cracks in the road because there aren't any lines in the frame. It's all wireless. There's no ting, 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 and the bike all of a sudden just sounds smooth. The next thing that's really smooth is the shifting. I found the shifting to be different because I'll explain up there what's different about the shifting, but just the shifting itself was smoother. Instead of a tick feeling like that, it's more, I think it's maybe just a hair slower, but it's more buttery. It's more gentle going from one cog to the next. And that's part of what this AXS system is. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 gears that are closer together with a smaller chain. It's quieter, it's smoother. The jumps from one gear to the next are a little bit less. Next thing, the shifting is different. To shift the front chain ring, The main crank, you've got to press both of the shifters in at the same time, and it's going to sense where it is, and it's going to go from one to the other. And what you do for the rear cog set is you can set it really to anything with the app, because it's all just done by an app. But how I have it set up is this one over here shifts to an easier gear, this shifts to a harder gear, and like I say, shifting was smooth, but one noticeable difference is the size of the hoods here. The size of the hoods, if you have really, really small hands, females, young athletes, the grips are a fair bit thicker, noticeably thicker. I would say that if I wasn't wearing gloves, I wouldn't really feel like it was big, but I have like small hands. So some people don't like this. Some people like a much smaller grip, and you'll get that on Shimano, whereas this is, it's thick. All right, so that's what's up with the SRAM AXS eTap system. As far as the first impressions go, if there's anything on here that you want like a full video review of, I don't know if it's battery life, if it's shifting experience, if it's weight, if it like, hit me up in the comments below, because this is my first experience with SRAM versus Shimano. They're making a really big push towards like being the #1 group set out there, and I'm just learning it. So comments below and let me know what you want to see as far as SRAM goes. But I like it. I'm into it. Later, Trainiacs. Also, that might be the last road ride outside for a long time, till I travel somewhere.